What's up? Welcome to the coaches meeting slash instant reaction to day 8 of training camp presented by Prize Picks. That's the coach. I'm Grant Cohn. And I just want to, this is like an instant reaction to practice. Coach wasn't there, but we all know what happened. Today was Brock Purdy day. It's been Brock Purdy month. I started off training camp nitpicking the hell out of him. I was like, yeah, he was good, but he threw it a little too soft today. And then the next day I was like, he's throwing it a little too hard. Well, now we're 8 days in. He's thrown one pick in the entire training camp, despite having, no starting wide receivers. And today, 2 deep touchdown passes, one to Malik Turner, one to Kaderil Hodge. This is the best I've ever seen Brock Purdy in camp, making great decisions, quick decisions, playing with a ton of confidence and making plays. Are you surprised to hear that from me or about Brock?
Yes and no. It's about time. Brock has had enough time on task with starting. He's comfortable with the offense, and also this leans right into the growth that we would see from somebody who's going from maybe a tier 2 quarterback to possibly a tier 1 quarterback, and using the E word, elite, because what you're seeing right now is a development standpoint of Brock's processing, Brock being able to know exactly what's happening before the defense gets there. Brock is accurate. He knows how to use all of his attributes at once. I mean, the thing that I feel like you see from defensive coordinators alike and around the league is that Brock is way more than what you as advertised, right? He's faster than what you think he is. He's more accurate than what you think he is, right? Brock is going to push the ball down the field more than you think he is, and he's got the moxie to prove it. Raheem Morris affectionately started calling Brock the Layer King, and I'm here for it. We can't say that we want a guy and he doesn't start building moxie around the building. He doesn't start making a name for himself. One thing that I will say that you brought up earlier in the take and in your instant reactions, which is Brock is not only showing to be like the hidden gem of camp and the strongest guy in camp, but he's the most consistent guy in camp. And right now, the entire weapons cachet that he's throwing to has been musical chairs, especially in the wide receiver room, in the running backs. And he's been making really good use of it. One thing that I've also been reading and seeing across all of you guys' reports is Brock has really found good chemistry with the tight ends. And that's crazy due to the fact that George Kittle is not here. So Brock, that shows that this is ironic because this is a take that you and I usually go back and forth on, Grant. But Brock is showing that inside of this offense, being able to play with different people up and down the depth chart, he's showing that he doesn't know a recipe. He knows how to cook. And that's something that we've always gone at Kyle Shanahan for, with not knowing how to cook, only knowing a recipe. You get Brock in a position where he's like, okay, Kyle, I see what you're giving me. I understand the recipe, but you know what? It needs a little bit of this. I'll add something on. I think that Brock is getting to the point where he may not be being coached. He's going to start being consulted because Brock is showing himself to be a subject matter expert in this offense.
It's a really, really good take. I mean, I've been hard on Brock his whole career, and I feel like the nature of my criticism really hasn't been about his physical attributes. Like, I like his physical skill set. He was the last pick in the draft, but I don't think that had to do with his physical skill set. I mean, Mac Jones was a top 15 pick. And if you watch these guys side by side, Brock is a better athlete than Mac Jones. No question. Like, Mac is a little taller and he's a little bit stronger of an arm, but not drastically. And the mobility that Brock Purdy has is on a whole different level. If Johnny Manziel and Mac Jones could be top 20 picks, then really Brock probably should have been as well. And if he'd been a little younger and been in the transfer portal and he hadn't spent 4 years at Iowa State, I think there's a good chance he probably would have been drafted higher. But to me, like, what I focus my criticism on for Brock is his decision-making. Because ever since he came in the league, just because he's kind of short and white, he's Drew Brees. You remember that movie, Role Models? Like, you're white, you're Ben Affleck. You're short and you're white, you're Drew Brees. And it's like, whoa, he doesn't play at all like Drew Brees, at least not until now, because I think the decision-making has been one of his biggest weaknesses. And you can point to the interceptions on first down. He's far and away the most interception-prone quarterback in the league on first down, which is so weird because you don't have to take chances on first down. And to me, the question is that a Brock thing or is that a Kyle thing? Because sometimes Kyle's quarterbacks, he's very demanding. I want this throw. I want this read. And some guys just do what Kyle says, for better or for worse. And Kyle's only partially coaching right now. And I wonder if this is what Brock would look like if he just got complete full reign like the elite quarterbacks do. Because so far, man, he looks great. Great.
Yeah, I see that he's taking full command of the entire offense, and that's what you want to see in a guy at this stage of his career. One thing that I will bring up is that a lot of the turnovers and sometimes a lot of the things where you talk about Brock's decision making is, I feel like there's a little PTSD being baked in from the lack of protection that he's getting. All right. Yep. Also, if we're looking at this is something that we have to talk about. There was no separation either from the receivers, not helping him out at all last year. All right, on top of just the receivers that we had on the team at the time. But another thing that we miss as fans, I believe, Grant, is that when it's man and you're an NFL receiver, if you are not open, that is on you. That is on the receiver. There should not be one man that should be able to guard you if you are an NFL receiver where you cannot get open. So a lot of that, I believe,
unless you're facing Derek Stingley Jr. or something. Which
there you go, where those guys make the big bucks, right? But outside of that, I think that Brock is finally getting a little bit of juice on the outside. We needed some team speed. We need bigger targets with surface area. And Mike Evans, right? He's reported to be back in 2 weeks. So I love what's happening with Brock. And then also, too, you tell me, because I wish I had eyes on this. Is there continuity with Brock in the offensive line now? We've heard that the offensive line on the interior is looking better. I haven't heard anything about Jake Brindle, but I've heard rave reviews about Connor Colby. We already heard that Dominic Pooney is taking a step up, and Colton McKivitz kind of seems to be just really moving at a great pace. What do you see right now, especially with an offensive line that's on a pitch count with Trent Williams?
The last 2 days, the left guard has been Robert Jones. They don't know exactly who's going to start there. I wouldn't be surprised if both Jones and Colby start a few games at left guard this season. But it seems like the same offensive line he's always had. It's not a great offense. It's not a terrible offensive line. Maybe it's a little underrated, but it's not Philly's. Like, if he gets past his first read, he has to reset and shuffle around, maybe leave the pocket. And he's great at that. It's like really the only issue with Brock the last few years is, man, the decision making. Like, you can't have an interception percentage of 3.5. You can't. And although he plays great a lot of the time, when he loses, when he faces a really good defense, it feels like there's multiple turnovers in the game from Brock Purdy. And I just want maybe that'll happen in games, but my axiom is that you practice how you play. And Brock has thrown a bunch of picks in camp every year until this year and thrown a bunch of picks in games. This year, he's thrown one pick in 8 days of camp. I feel like he's finally settling into like middle age as a quarterback. He's always seemed like a 40-year-old man, but he's 26 and he's really playing like a guy who's in his 5th year in the league, 5th year in the system. So confident, as opposed to Mac Jones, who, for whatever reason, is having a really tough camp.
One thing that can't be understated enough, Grant, is not only are we seeing the consistency from Brock, but you know what else is consistent with Brock? His health. He's not battling anything. You know, he's not battling the toe. He's not battling other injuries that have kept him out. This elbow kind of seems like an afterthought now, which I love.
He seems fully healthy. 100%.
There you go. We're building so
and when he's 100%
distance.
healthy, he is a top 10 quarterback. He's just not 100% healthy often enough, but he is right now.
And that's how I feel about him. Right now, I feel like he's the king of camp. Yeah. He's the most consistent guy. Yep. He's performing the most with
he's the MVP of camp. He's the MVP of camp for sure.
He's performing the most with nobody really. You know, the tight ends are we're supposed to be worried.
What a shot at Kadarius Hodge. Wow.
I'm sorry, Kadarius. My bad, Kadarius. But what I'm just basically saying is that, you know, you can ask for things for so much that you almost create yourself into being a victim. And then when you finally get what you're asking for, even when you see shades of it, it's hard for you to get out of that track. And there's been a really deep groove about Brock Purdy is not enough. Brock Purdy is just being brought along by the Avengers. we can't talk about all of these guys being old, all of these injuries that we're accruing. We have a topic today about where is Nick Bosa. We're putting out an APB for him, and then have all of these numbers and consistency from Brock Purdy when camp numbers mattered. All of a sudden, we're day 8 in the camp and he's killing it. You got to crown him, man. He's doing a great job.
I'm just trying to be consistent because I was always the guy who's like, no, these practice interceptions matter. And a lot of people are like, no, they don't. You practice, you're trying things out. Nah, you practice how you play. And I'm so encouraged that he's not doing that anymore. I think it's a big step in his development. Only thing I want to say, I'm just effusive with my praise for Brock Purdy. I mean, I'm so impressed. I want to say a but though. The but is not about him. It's just about the team around him. Like we always took for granted his supporting cast. Like he's got the Avengers. Man, no, he doesn't. Not anymore. He's got like an okay offensive line. His running game sucked last year. Maybe it'll be a little bit better this year because, I mean, Christian looks good, but what are we really expecting from Christian last year? All the backup running backs are hurt. All the wide receivers are hurt. I mean, if the Niners struggle this year, he's going to get blamed because he makes so much money, but he doesn't have a lot of help right now. And while he's balling with Malik Turner and Kadarius Hodge today, he's not going to beat the Rams like that. He won't, and it won't be his fault. Like Mike Evans, you need to come back. Take your time, but like Stribling, Kittle, you gotta be out there. Tonjes and freaking
Keelan Black
DeMarcus
or
Robinson.
Jordan James needs to come back.
It's just
that's a big.
Like,
I'll take
if
one.
Debo gets 8 carries in week 1, they're gonna lose, no matter how well Brock Purdy plays.
But let me close with this. Isn't this what we wanted though?
Yes.
Theoretically. Wasn't this the plan?
Yes.
Where, Brock is getting carried by these Avengers. Like, well, what the hell else do you think he's going to do? He was Mr. Irrelevant. He got picked up at the last pick of the draft, and he came on to a Super Bowl-ready team. I think there's going to be a delta between him actually catching up as far as skill and consistency is concerned. And now, years removed, Super Bowls removed, all right? They're getting older. And then now, all of a sudden, we're having reports that the young man is growing up and taking control. So it almost seems as if this is the plan working in front of our eyes.
Let me explain to you what it's like to watch Brock in 2026 in camp. And again, this is someone who's been to 15. This is my 16th camp. All right. So I've only seen.
Damn, you old.
Okay. And I didn't cover Jeff Garcia or Steve Young. I covered Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Brock. And what I'll say, this is the first quarterback I've ever said this about watching in person on the Niners.
Be careful.
Right now, he makes it look so easy. He makes it look so easy. It's so easy for him. Today was so easy for him. I mean, Jimmy was never like that. Colin was never like Alex was never like that. I mean, Alex was like dripping with anxiety. Colin was scrambling. Jimmy was throwing picks. Brock was throwing prick. But today, all offseason, really, Brock has made it look really fucking easy. And that's how, he's almost bored out there. I would imagine that's what prime, I'm not saying he's prime Aaron Rodgers. I'm not. But I would imagine prime Aaron Rodgers, prime Patrick Mahomes, prime Josh Allen in camp, fucking bored. Hell, because during games, they look bored. And Brock can be a little, I wouldn't say tight, but amped. And right now, year 5, he looks bored. So easy for him.
Hey,
that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing because that's when you know you're paying for the consistency when it looks routine. All right. When it looks routine, that's when you could start paying attention to the metadata, the smaller things about the game. And one thing that you have seen from a lot of the quarterbacks who have shared a quarterback room with Brock is that not only is he great on the field, but he is a phenomenal preparer. His preparation.
He grinds as hard as Kyle does. He takes it that seriously. He grinds like that.
He's got a poor man's game. I'll give it.
Jimmy didn't grind like that.
Yeah, Brock has got a poor man's game, and you gotta love it.
Yep, I like that. That's well put. Joey Mellon says hello. What's up, Joey? Night Watcher says, how was Ephesians Prysock? I mean, he's all right. He's big. I'm just saying, in one-on-one.
Why you so down on him, dog?
He's all right. He's a rookie. He needs a little time. I wouldn't think he's going to do much as a rookie. He's a work in progress. I like Ephesians. He's got a lot to work with, but he's not there yet. He's playing with the third team. Nothing against Ephesians. He's a rookie. Philly Lag says, love the bright. How do you know I got bright blue shorts on, huh? What you talking about? Would you see me at camp? What's up with that?